legend for 99 months in a row. He's 2013 top 10 elite coach, Million Club member with 3 personally sponsored coaches, also in the Million Club too. Let's give it up for Scottie Hobbs.
I'm excited to be here. I got a little emotional when I saw Hannah's name up there. She's one of my coaches, so congrats, Hannah. I don't have a clicker, I just realized, but we'll figure this out. I'm so excited to be here, and I know you guys, some of you guys have been waiting for years for the opportunity to come to Coach Summit. So you guys made a sacrifice to come here. You left your families, took time off of work. So one thing I want to just emphasize to you guys is to take action when you leave here. Don't make it a waste of a trip coming here. Take action upon what you learn so you can completely change your lives. I'm going to talk a lot today about decisions and the importance of making decisions and the importance of our mission, because our mission is to help people achieve their goals and live healthier, more fulfilling lives. Our mission is to help end the trend of obesity. And if you want to have a long-lasting, sustaining business, we have to remain focused on that decision to help people and make that our first priority. So my decision started early in May 2010. One of my first mentors, I asked him, how do you become successful in this business? And he said, the person who tells the story the most wins. So you guys get to hear my story today about how I got started and the decision that I made. It was early 2010, and I had 2 daughters at the time, married for about 5 years, and I remember I had this guy knock on my door, and he was like 6'2", like 220 pounds, just solid muscle. And I have 2 little kids. I'm 5'11", 189 pounds, just fluffy, like never been in shape in my life. And so I let him in because he had a plate of brownies. He was new to the neighborhood. He was making friends from the church. And so I let him in, and I just asked him, dude, you have 2 kids. I have 2 kids. You look like that. You have a ton of energy. You're confident. You're ripped, and I look like this. So what can I do? And he's like, I was like, what do you do? And he told me that he is the strength training coach for the American football high school team for the kids. And he's like, I'll train you. If you want, you can come train with us. Come lift weights with us. So I was like, I'm in. Let's lift weights. Tell me when and where. And he told me, we meet at the gym at 6 o'clock. Can you be there? And at that time, I worked every day from 5 to 5. So I worked 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. So I couldn't go to the gym with him. So I asked him, what can I do? What can I do at home? Do you have any other advice and tips for me? So he's like, you should do that P90X workout. He's like, that P90X workout, I've seen people get results with that, you should do it. So that day, I made a decision that I was going to start and complete P90X. So I was going to have a transformation, and I was going to look and feel like that guy was feeling. So I committed, and in 90 days I lost 38 pounds, and I had abs for the first time. That's my original P90X before-after picture. I had not a cell phone in the first picture to show you I started in 2010. That was the decision that I made, and I had the accountability of a coworker every day. We checked on each other. We weren't drinking energy drinks anymore. If he had one or I had one, we'd call each other out. So we had that accountability. But I also started putting pictures on Facebook as well. I didn't use Facebook very much, so I overwhelmed my Facebook friends with running pictures and P90X pictures and healthy eating pictures. So I decided to start a group so I wouldn't be so overwhelming to them, where the people that were asking for help, I could help them privately and put all that stuff inside of there. So I started an accountability group. We called it the Staying Fit Family. And anybody that was asking me for advice and tips, because people were saying, what are you doing? You look different, you have more confidence, I saw your transformation, I need some help. And I was just telling them, do P90X, do Insanity, follow this meal plan, drink more water, stop. I just started giving advice on the things that I was learning and the things that I was going through. So I fell in love with that process. And the one thing I want you guys to think about is, I'm working this 12-hour day, and as I'm going through this process, I remember sitting at work one day thinking, man, I don't love and look forward to coming to work. Every time I walk up the stairs in my cubicle, it's dread. But every time I open my laptop to check in on this group, it's like, I'm excited. Because people are like, I notched another hole in my belt, I'm down to dress size, I feel so good, and I was like, I guess, addicted to that feeling of helping people and seeing that transformation and those things happen in other people's lives as well. So I was really in love with this process of helping people. And I don't know anything about Beachbody coaching. I just did the workouts. The guy that introduced me wasn't a Beachbody coach. He did what every one of us should do, is be proof of a healthy lifestyle and give people advice on what you do. But at this time, I put that picture, I put it in the P90X like page on Facebook. And I received probably 30 private messages of, hey, you and I should talk with my upline coach. Let's have a 3-way call. And some of them were identical. They're identical copy and pasted scripts, and I absolutely hated it. I was like, I'm never gonna be a coach. I didn't know it was a business opportunity, but I was like, I'm not gonna join that thing. Like that was just weird that they always sent me these private messages. So I said, okay, I'm not gonna be a coach, but I'm still helping people and in love with helping people. And I happened to find, I did a transformation video, I put it on YouTube, and then I started watching other transformation videos, which happen to be coaches. So I'm watching a video from Lindsay Matway, and in her video, she shares a transformation of losing 30 pounds with P90X. She then goes on to tell this story about having her daughter London prematurely. And she incurred a few $100,000 worth of debt. And she talks about how she was a bartender, and she did P90X, lost the weight. She became a coach. She was helping other people get results. And that she left her bartending to do coaching full-time to be home for her daughter when she came out of the ICU. And she was there to take care of her, and she mentioned that she was slowly paying off the $300,000 worth of debt with her coaching income. And that's all she said. I was just slowly working on paying off the income by helping people. So then my mind's like, okay, like this is maybe something, like I just really resonated with that because I wasn't working 12 hours a day at a steel factory because I loved working with steel. And my wife, who's over here, Gabby, she wasn't working a night job from 3 to 11 every night. So when I got home, she was always gone. She wasn't doing that because she loved working at the Hilton front desk. She did it because we couldn't keep up with the bills. We lived paycheck to paycheck, even with the overtime hours. And so as I'm listening to this video, I'm like, I work 12-hour days, and every Saturday, because of our mortgage, which is a couple $100,000, and she's saying she's paying that off. Like maybe this is a way to get out of all the overtime. Maybe this is a way that my wife could come home from work so that we could see each other at night, because we live opposite life, where she takes care of the kids in the day and I take care of them at night. And I was like, maybe this is the answer. Maybe this is the thing that can change our lives like that. And I already love the workouts. So I emailed Lindsay, and we had a phone call. She shared her story with me in person. And she asked about my life, all the questions about my work. Is that what you went to school with? I'm like, no, I just ended up here because my career didn't work out for what I went to school. And she's like, you have great results, and I see you're already talking about it. You would be a great coach. And I told her, no, that's good for you. Like, that's awesome what you're doing, but it's just not for me. I'll just keep helping people, like, just keep recommending, but I'm not going to sign up for that thing. And the reality is, I love listening to the Q&A. Like, I had fears, I had doubts. I never used social media like that before. I never ran a business before. And I've never been on a video or talked on a stage or in front of people. And I saw her doing those things. I'm like, I can't do any of that stuff. So I told her no, and I continued to tell her no for another 8 months. But I continued the programs. I started and finished P90X 4 times. Start to finish. I started, finish it, start another round. And I did 4 rounds of P90X, and so it's a year later now, in April of 2011. It's about 8 or 9 months after I had that conversation with Lindsay. And I remember it was a few weeks after the birth of our daughter, our 3rd daughter, Elena. And she was just born, and in the US we have our insurance, but you still have to pay on top of that. And we don't have paid maternity leave. I don't have to say that because I was talking to Hannah, and she's like, well, you guys don't have some of that stuff. And so my wife's home from work, so we're missing her income. And then I remember I had a habit of getting our mail from a lockbox at the end of our street. I'd just do it once a week because of our busy lifestyles. I'd take it to work early in the morning so I could do my little spreadsheet with the numbers at lunch. And so I'm opening the bills, throwing all the junk mail away, and it's like the doctor bill, the hospital bill, anesthesiologist bill, and on top of our insurance, the math as I looked at all those bills was about $3,800 after what our insurance paid. And I just remember feeling this heavy weight on my shoulders, sitting there in my cubicle. I felt like my cubicle was spinning around me. And like I went through the day feeling like that the whole day. I went home and I still felt like that. Because I was thinking of all these things like, first, how am I going to pay this? I can't really work more than 12 hours a day. Do I have to go back to school? Does my wife have to work maybe a higher paying job in the day and someone has to completely raise our kids in daycare versus her raising them in the morning and me at night? And that day I made another decision. And that was the decision to be a coach. Because my fear that day of not knowing how to provide for my family became greater than my fear of failing as a coach. And I made a decision that I would go all in. And I think some tips and advice, I see too many people say, oh, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to try this out. Like I made a decision that day that I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this happen. Like I'm going to completely change our lives with this. So I signed up as a coach, showing you 2011 was a while ago. I faxed in my coach application and just do a share card and all that stuff. And I become a coach, and I do a Getting Started Right coach a call with my coach, Lindsay. Guys, I want you to know, this isn't part of my script, but we didn't have internet in the house. We couldn't afford it. We didn't have cable. I didn't have a smartphone even when we started. So I started an online business with no internet in the house and no smartphone, just saying I'm going to figure this out. So I did a Getting Started Right call from my neighbor's landline, and I'm talking to Lindsay about my goals. She's like, what do you want to do what do you want to accomplish with this business? And I said, I want to make $10,000 in a year. Because my wife makes like $12,000 at the night job, $2,000 for the babysitter that watches them between 3 and 5. So if we make $10,000, she wouldn't have to work at night. And she could come home from work. I'll work 12-hour days, I'll be home at 5, and we can eat dinner together as a family. And we can go out and kick soccer balls and play, and because that's what I always envisioned my life like, but it wasn't like that. So like that would be the biggest dream ever, would be to make that $10,000 a year. And then Lindsay told me this that has stuck with me ever since. She said, I can't promise you $10,000, but I promise that your income will be a direct reflection of the number of lives that you change. Your income will be a direct reflection of the number of lives that you change. And I remember saying, okay, that's easy. I'll change all the lives for $10,000. So I'm a numbers person, so I'm like, how many lives equals $10,000? Because I don't know how coaching works at all. I only knew that you could make a 25% commission. So I'm thinking I need to find like 300 people, sell them P90X or Shakeology or Insanity, help them get results, and I'm like $10,000. So that's literally how I started, just with that hope of doing that. And as I started in that conversation and making the goals of I'm going to do this, I'm going to help people, I'm going to remember to always put people first. I remember they just barely got home from a Success Club trip. They were on a cruise with my hero, Tony Horton. And that was another day that made me mad. We won't talk about that, but I was like, those guys are on a free trip and I'm sitting in this cubicle. Like, I should be on those trips. So I was like, how do I go on those trips? And she said, well, if you hit Success Club 10 every single month, then you'll earn an invite to go to Atlantis. So I put a picture of Atlantis up on my screensaver at work, and that was the goal, that I would hit Success Club 10 every month, and then I would be able to take Gabby on a vacation. We've never been able to be on an extravagant vacation like that. Our honeymoon was another different story of fun with a very little budget. So I was excited about those two opportunities to make $10,000. I want you to think about this. There's a clear goal, $10,000, and a why behind it, which was to be able to be home with my family, to have my wife home at night. And then the other goal was to hit Success Club 10 and earn a free trip. And the free trip would mean that I could provide that type of vacation for my wife. So I made that decision, and I'm going to stay committed to helping people. And remember for a year I've been helping people saying, go do P90X, go do Insanity. So now I have this point thing I gotta think about, Success Club points. And I didn't like looking at people as points. It was like a hard thing for me as I first got started. So I kind of created, like this is your own business, you can create your own rules, right? Your own beliefs and rules about what it means to be successful, what success is. And for me, I created this thing for myself first, and then it was part of our team called the 5 Lives Club. And don't worry, I'm not changing Success Club to the 5 Lives Club. This is just my own thing to help me focus on that these points were actually people's lives that we were impacting. That I was giving the tools, support, and accountability for somebody to completely change their life. So I'm gonna go through just a series of questions because you guys are like, okay, I want to help 5 people a month, or I want to help 3 people a month, or I want to earn the next getaway or go on a Success Club trip, which is going to involve hitting Success Club consistently. So one of the things, I'm going to walk through some questions. If the answer to the question I give you guys is yes, just raise your hand. We'll go through it real quick. So if somebody were to do our workout programs from start to finish, follow the meal plan, and drink Shakeology, will their life be better, yes or no? Yes. Okay, if they read personal development books, if they are always listening to good podcasts, business development books, and improving their mindset, will their life be better, yes or no? Yes. The third question is, if somebody, if they go out of their way to build communities and friendships with people and genuine connections with other people and not stay isolated to themselves, if they go out and do that, will their life improve? Yes. And the fourth one is, if they go out of their own way, stop thinking only about themselves and recognize other people and the good things, whether it's losing 5 pounds or making a commitment to their health or being a good mother, like doing some sort of recognition like that to other people and giving that to others, will their life improve? Yes. So those things are the basics and the fundamentals of the vital behaviors, right? So if those things are true, then if the answer is yes to all of those questions, then who should we be inviting to our teams? Who should we be inviting to our challenge groups and to our teams as coaches? Everybody, right? Everybody needs what we have. And there's people out there that are looking for somebody to help them. So I'm going to tell a story. I think I saw him back there. Chris, you guys know Chris Pandolfo? Yeah. Okay. I'm not even nervous about giving my talks here at Summit because I'm just thinking about Saturday and Saturday night, the Beachbody Challenge. But people are looking for help. Okay, so I made this decision, and you guys are going to make decisions leading Summit, maybe new decisions about what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. And so just staying consistent, adding value on social media. I'm not going to train on that. But staying consistent in those activities. Chris found me. And Chris told me, he responded to a post I did, and he responded and said, I need this, fat and sick. Super simple. And I responded to him, first I realized, okay, Chris, he belongs in our group. If he feels like that, he belongs in our community, which I call our virtual gym. So I brought him in, welcomed him into our group and into our community. I asked him about his goals. And I remember him telling me he wanted to get down to 200 pounds. And I remember saying, Chris, when you get down to 200 pounds, I believe you could be the $100,000 Beachbody Challenge winner. And we had that conversation in the beginning 2 years ago. And so once he got in, I got him connected with Beachbody On Demand and the meal plan. And the UK wasn't open, so I couldn't sell him a challenge pack. I couldn't get commissions. So I just did what I did in 2010, which was say, hey, go do P90X, go do Insanity. I said, go get the Beachbody On Demand and the meal plan, and I'll help you. So helping people always comes first. You gotta always put people before points, people before commissions, and focus on helping someone transform their life. And then one thing I do with my challengers in the beginning, I check in with them once a week, ask how their nutrition went, how their workouts went, what they're struggling with. And then I've always been there for the 2 years to answer questions, get on the phone, or video chat with him when he needs that. And so guys, what I want you guys to remember is a lot of the training just focuses on what you do until you make the challenge pack sell. But the real work actually happens after the sell, which is helping somebody get the results. And this is what can happen when we do what our job is. And so I want you guys to remember how important our job is. Like, there's people out there who need our help. And if we're not overcoming our own limiting beliefs and our doubts and our insecurities, and we're afraid of what someone at work might say because we're posting, we're going to miss out on the opportunities to find and connect with these people that we can truly help change their lives. So remember what our mission is, of helping end the trend of obesity and helping other people achieve their goals and live a healthier, more fulfilling life. So we're going to walk through these just real quick. It's kind of like a recap. I want you guys to know coaching is, you guys are going to learn so many things, but I want you to remember when you leave here, it's like 95% your mindset, 5% the mechanics. The mechanics is like how to sell, how to put stuff on social media, how to use a share card, how to place coaches. 95% will be your mindset in this business. So that starts with your mindset, that starts right there. It's time to make a decision. And the decision, make sure that you're starting, finishing our programs, using Shakeology, using our supplements, and that you get accountability. Whether it's you starting a new challenge group, you jump in your upline coaches challenge group, or you get a success partner and you start a challenge group, get accountability, and then decide, commit, succeed. Decide, commit, succeed. That's one of the things with Beachbody is decide, commit, succeed. And one thing that I always see is it's not decide, do it half-assed, or decide, do it till it gets hard. It's decide, commit, and succeed, and make that true decision that you're going to do this. Have success with the products. What that means is share your journey as you go. Share on social media the success that you're having, because success is an ongoing journey. It's something that never ends. And then also make sure that you're starting, finishing programs, and submitting them to the Beachbody Challenge. We get to be like be like Chris. And like put your results in the Beachbody Challenge, because anything that you do is going to be duplicated by your challengers, your customers, and your coaches. So if you're not doing that, you cannot ever expect your team or your challengers to complete a program if you're not doing it yourself. So have success with the programs, and then go out and pay it forward. And guys, coaching is super simple, okay? It's hard, really hard, because we have to change ourselves first, and that's probably the hardest thing. And then we have to help other people change. It's hard, so don't get me wrong there, but it's super simple. And the basics of it is what we've talked about today. Have results with the programs yourself. Help somebody else have results with the programs. That would be your customer and client base. And then they become coaches on your team. And then you teach them how to do what you did for them to other people. That's all coaching is. So don't overcomplicate it. Have results yourself. And then help other people get results. And then teach those people how to help other people. That's all. Like, you leave someone and then just go out and figure it out, as they said in the panel, on how to best do that and the style of that for you. And, you know, my time's almost out. I could go forever. But the thing I want you guys to remember is that decision I made in May of 2010 to do P90X, I never knew the ripple effect that it would have. I never knew that it would take us to where we are today. We had 3 kids at the time I became a coach. We have 5 kids now, and that's the last. We're done. We're done. But I wouldn't know my 2 sons if I had not pushed play on P90X and became a coach in 2011. We wouldn't have ever been able to think about having more kids, and we love those boys. They're the joy of our life, along with our girls. And that's part of the ripple effect. Their lives are part of the ripple effect of making the decision to do P90X and to go all in with this business. Chris completely changing his life. Like, I never thought in May of 2010 when I first did my P90X workout, or April 11th when I became a coach, that I would have a friend that lost my body weight off of his body. We did a picture last night, I jumped on his back, and he's lost my body weight over the last 2 years. And like, he has this life and excitement and joy, and like, I'm just so proud of him. And I couldn't imagine that before, but that's the ripple effect that happens. And you know, you see these accolades of what we've been able to do. I've just made because when you make a commitment, you make a decision one time, and then it just comes up to managing it every day. Like, I wake up 5 days out of the week. You can ask my wife, I'm not excited about it. Like, I have to get myself there through personal development, through doing my workout, and then remembering that my purpose and my goal is to help other people live a healthier, more fulfilling life and help end the trend of obesity. And when I get in that place, I can show up and be the best I can be. And it's helped me be in the best shape of my life at the same time. There's nothing, I don't think there's anything more incredible than that. The trend of obesity is not going down yet, so we have a ton of work to do. So as you learn all the tactical tips and tools today, I want you guys just first to know, like, you could fill a room 10 times this size one day with your team if you just decide to do it and decide to go all in. Okay, guys, enjoy your summer.